Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Have you had a good week? Today's Friday, so at least we have reached the weekend. I cannot speak. Excuse me while I put my false teeth back in, and they're not really false, but anyway. Yeah, have you had a good week? And what have you been up to? Have you been up to much? Have you done anything interesting? What have I done? Nothing much interesting. I've just done the norm. I do the norm. My life is just doing the norm. So yeah, I think you should just listen to me talk about the video because I'm just waffling about nothing as usual. So anyway, yes, the video. Today's video is about the ghost of Raynham Hall. Now, Raynham Hall is in Norfolk in England, if you didn't know, but I'm sure you are aware because it's a very famous ghost story, and it's the picture. When I show you, when you watch the video, you will see the photograph and the photograph of the famous ghosty lady coming down the stairs, and you will have seen it. So, but I thought I'd do a video because I find this story really fascinating and interesting, and I've enjoyed reading about it and learning about the history of Raynham Hall, who the ghost, the brown lady of Raynham Hall was, and etc, etc. So I won't waffle on about it anymore because you're going to hear about it anyway in a minute. Before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you to you all for sticking with me, and you know I love you. And let's get on with the video. Let's just do it. Let's do the video. The Ghost of Raynham Hall, Norfolk. Raynham Hall in Norfolk has a famous ghost, named the Brown Lady. It became one of the most famous hauntings in the United Kingdom when photographers from Country Life magazine claimed to have captured its image. The Brown Lady is so named because of the brown brocade dress it is claimed that she wears. Legend has it that the ghost reportedly haunts the hall is called Dorothy Walpole. She was the sister of Robert Walpole, who was generally regarded as the first Prime Minister of Great Britain. She was wife to Charles Townshend. He was known for his violent temper. It's said that when he found out his wife was having an affair with Lord Wharton, he punished her by locking her in the rooms of the family home, Raynham Hall. Dorothy remained at Raynham Hall until she died from smallpox in 1726. The first recorded claim of a sighting at the hall was by Lucia Stone during a Christmas gathering at Raynham Hall in 1835. Stone says that Charles Townshend had invited various guests to the hall, including a Colonel Loftus, to join into the Christmas festivities. Loftus and another guest named Hawkins said they had seen the Brown Lady one night as they approached their bedrooms, noting in particular the dated brown dress that she wore. The following evening, Loftus claimed to have seen the Brown Lady again, later reporting that on this occasion, he was drawn to the spectre's empty eye sockets, dark in the glowing face. Loftus' sightings led to some staff permanently leaving Raynham Hall. Later, in 1836, another person said they saw the ghost of the Brown Lady, Captain Frederick Marriott, a friend of novelist Charles Dickens and the author of a series of popular sea novels. It said that Marriott requested to spend the night in the most haunted room of Raynham Hall to prove his theory that the haunting was caused by local smugglers anxious to keep people away from the area. Writing in 1891, Florence Marriott said of her father's experience, "He took possession of the room where the portrait of apparition hung, and where she had often been seen, and slept each night with a loaded revolver under his pillow. 2 days passed and he saw nothing. The third day was the limit of his stay, however. 2 young men knocked at his door as he was undressing for bed. asked him to go to the other end of the corridor to their room to give them his opinion on a new gun that had just arrived from London. My father was in his shirt and trousers, but as an hour was late and everybody had retired for bed except themselves, he prepared to accompany them as he was. As they were leaving the room, he caught up with his revolver and said, laughing, "In case you meet the brown lady." When the inspection of the gun was over, the young men accompanied my father back again with the same spirit of, "In case you meet the brown lady," laughing. The corridor was long and dark, for lights had been extinguished, but as they reached the middle, they saw a glimmer of a lamp coming towards them from the other end. "One of the ladies going to visit the nurseries," whispered the young men to my father. The bedroom doors in that corridor faced each other, and each room had a double door with a space between, as is the case with many old-fashioned houses. My father, as I have said, was in a shirt and trousers only, and his native modesty made him feel uncomfortable, so he slipped within one of the outer doors, with his friends following his example, in order to conceal himself until the lady had passed by. I've heard him describe how he watched her approaching nearer and nearer through the chink of a door until, as she was close enough for him to distinguish the colours and style of her costume, he recognised the figure as the portrait of the brown lady. He had his finger on the trigger of his revolver and was about to demand for it to stop and give the reason for its presence there, when the figure halted of its own accord before the door, behind which he stood. It holding the lighted lamp she carried to her features, she grinned in a malicious and diabolical manner at him. This act so infuriated my father, who was anything but lamb-like in disposition, that he sprang into the corridor with a bound and discharged the revolver right in her face. The figure instantly disappeared, the figure at which for several minutes 3 men had been looking at together, and the bullet passed through the outer door of the room on the opposite side of the corridor and lodged in the panel of the inner one. My father never attempted to interfere with the brown lady of Raynham again. Lady Townsend reported that the brown lady was next seen in 1926 when her son and his friend say they saw the ghost on the staircase, identifying the ghostly figure with the portrait of the Lady Dorothy Walpole, which then hung in the haunted room. However, ever since Marriott's encounter with the brown lady, sightings have mostly ended, although some now claim that she haunts nearby Horton Hall and Sandringham House. Back in September 1936, though, Captain Provand, who was in London, he was a London-based photographer working for Country Life magazine, his assistant Indre Shearer. They were taking photos of Raynham Hall for an article when they claimed to have seen the ghost. They said they'd already taken the photograph of the staircase in the hall, and they were setting up for a second photo when they saw a vapoury form gradually forming the appearance of a woman moving down the stairs towards them. Shearer told Provand to take off the cap of the lens while Shearer pressed the trigger to activate the camera's flash. Later, when the negative was developed, the famous ghostly image of the brown lady was revealed. Their experience at Raynham Hall was published in the Country Life magazine on December 26, 1936, along with the photograph they took. It also appeared in January 1937 edition of Life magazine. Then this is when paranormal investigator Harry Price came in. He interviewed Provand and Shearer, and he reported to say, "I will say at once I was impressed. I was told a perfectly simple story. Mr. Indre Shearer saw the apparition descending the stairs at the precise moment when Captain Provand's head was under the black cloth. A shout, and the cap was off and the flash bulb fired, with the results which we see now. I could not check their story, and I had no right to disbelieve them. Only collusion between the 2 men would account for the ghost if it is a fake. A negative was entirely innocent of any faking." although some critics claim Shearer faked the image by putting grease or something similar on the lens on the lens in the shape of a figure, or maybe moved down the stairs himself during exposure. Others claim the image is accidental exposure or light that somehow got into the camera. Joe Nichol has written that a detailed examination of the photograph shows evidence of double exposure. John Farley and Simon Welfare wrote, "There is a pale line above each stair tread, indicating that one picture has been superimposed over the other. A patch of reflected light at the top of the right-hand banister appears twice." The magician, John Booth, wrote the photograph could easily be duplicated by naturalistic methods. Booth had seen the magician Ron Wilson cover himself in a bedsheet and descend the grand staircase at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. The faked ghost image looked very similar to the Raynham Hall photograph. Now, other critics point out that the image of the lady very closely resembles that of a very standard Virgin Mary statue, as would be found in any Catholic church. The light patch covering the bottom 1/3 of the image, resembling an inverted V shape, being very indicative, as the outer garment above it drapes down on either side at an angle. Also, the head is covered and the hands appear to be together as if in prayer. And the square or rectangular pedestal on which she stands is also clearly visible. It strongly suggests that the photo is a simple superimposition of the Madonna statue onto the empty staircase. Now, Raynham is not generally open to the public, but the present Lord and Lady Townsend have open days where members of the public can have a tour of the house. You can find out on their website current open days, if there is any. Well then, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learnt something new today. I know it's a really famous story, and I know that a lot of you probably know all about it and, all of that. But did you know the history? Did you? Because I didn't know. And I think it's interesting to find out these things, and I enjoyed doing the research on it, if I'm honest. It's been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've not been put off by my videos yet. Anyway, it's Friday. What are you doing on the weekend? How are you doing? What are you doing the weekend? Are you doing anything? Anything going on? Don't know what's going on my weekend. I haven't got a clue. Never have. Till it happens. I don't know. We don't plan ahead like that unless it's something special. But I'm just looking forward to it anyhow. Anyway, I think we've waffled on quite enough, don't you, for one day. So today, I'm going to leave it there. And and we'll meet again next week, no doubt. Next week. Before I go though, please could you do me a favour? Now then, what might I want to do for a video and a podcast, because obviously all of my videos are then made into podcasts, so I have them on my podcast. So if you didn't know, I have this all on podcast too, which you will find out in my links in the comments. Anyway, so what I want you to do, have you got any spooky stories? Has anything happened to you? Have you got a haunted house? Have you seen a ghost? Have you heard something strange? Have you, anything like that? Because that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for your stories, your content, stuff you can tell me. Now, I've got a couple, two or three different stories from 2 or 3 different people who've kindly shared with me over social media. So here I am, here now, asking you to share your stories, because I haven't got as much as I need to make a video, but I want to make a video with your story. So if you can help me out, that would be most appreciative. Doesn't have to be anything really long. You don't have to tell your life story or anything like that. But it's just something creepy, spooky or weird that's happened to you. Please. If you want me to read your story out on my channel, please do send them in. You can find all of my links down below in the comments. As I said, you can contact me via email, via my social media, all of that stuff. And yeah, I'm done for today. I'm going to go now. We'll meet again next week. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Have a good weekend. And don't be too scared and have nightmares. See you later. Bye bye.